In our previous video, we looked at using Pantheon in order to spin up a Drupal site on a live server so we can work with Drupal without having to set up a local installation. In some situations, that can help us get started faster, but also if you're having trouble installing a local development environment, then having a hosted solution might be your only alternative right now. So in this video, I wanted to walk through the process of setting up a WebEnabled account, which is another hosting platform that will allow you to spin up a Drupal site and work through a lot of the videos on buildamodule.com without having to set up a local environment. WebEnabled offers the installation of several different platforms, including many distributions of Drupal, but also other CMSs like Joomla or WordPress. For those of you developers out there, WebEnabled also enables command line access or SSH access directly to your site. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Sign Up button, and then I'm going to click the Try Now button. I'm going to fill out this form real quick. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here, and I'm going to select a subdomain for my WebEnabled account. And finally, I'll click Create My Account. You'll be logged in automatically, and this screen provides some basic information about your account. Go ahead and click Go to Dashboard, and then click the link that corresponds to the subdomain that you just set up. To begin with, we don't have a site, so we need to start a site. So let's click the Start a Site button. We're going to keep this simple and simply spin up the latest version of Drupal 7. As you can see, there's a number of other options here, including several Drupal distributions, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and select this app to install. And then I'm going to select a name for a site and a folder name where this site will reside on my new account. I'm going to click Next Step. In this third step, what we're doing is setting a shell username and an app admin password. The app admin password corresponds to the password that you'll use for your initial account on your Drupal site or your user1 account, and then the username is what you'll use to log into the site if you're using the command line. You don't necessarily have to worry about this for the PHP videos, but if you use WebEnabled later on as you work through your development process, then this will come in handy, so you want to make a note of this. So I'm going to select my username, which is going to be LearnP, and then I'm going to set my app password, and then I'm going to select Next Step. This final step will allow you to review the choices that you made. I'm going to click Create My New Site. Now, once we go through this process, it will take a few minutes in order to actually build the site. So we get a notification that says, your new site has been created, the first development environment is in the process of getting built, and you'll receive an email once it's complete. So we'll wait for a few minutes until we get that email, and then we'll come back. Once the site building process is complete, you'll get an email that looks something like this, and it has two links in it. The first link is to the actual site, and the second is to the site management dashboard. If we click this, it will take us to an initial site information page. Now this includes usernames and passwords for both accessing the site and also to logging in via SSH or through the command line. There's also MySQL login information. The password for your site and for MySQL are both the password that you selected for your site when you did the initial setup, but the password for the SSH login is going to be a little bit different. So you may want to click the View Password link in order to view the password and copy it and save it somewhere. So what we're interested in the short term, at least for the purposes of this video series, is being able to run arbitrary PHP on this new site. So let's go ahead and jump to the site by clicking this topmost link here, and let's log in. I'm going to go ahead and click the login button. So there's a couple of different ways to go about running arbitrary PHP, but the method that we're going to use here is enabling the PHP filter on our site, which will allow us to insert PHP into the body of some content. Now in general, if you eventually plan on going live with this Drupal site that we're currently playing with, you want to turn off that PHP filter if you can, because it can be a potential security hole if you don't set up your site correctly with the right permissions. Okay, so our first step is enabling the PHP filter. I'm going to go ahead and go up to Modules and click it. Then I'm going to do a browser search for PHP Filter. Okay, so you see I did the search down here, and it showed up this result here in the browser. I'm going to go ahead and click the checkbox next to PHP Filter to enable it, and then I'm going to scroll up to the top and click Save Configuration. The next step is simple. We're just going to create some new content. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Content, and then I'm going to click on Add Content, and then Basic Page. Now this could be any content type. And now when I'm creating a temporary page that includes some arbitrary PHP in it, I usually name the title Delete Me, because this isn't a page that I want to linger. And in the body, we can paste in the PHP from a previous example. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back over to the editor, and I'm going to copy all the code that's in the test.php file. And then I'm going to jump back to the browser and paste it in the body here. Now, in order for this PHP to process, I need to change the text format here to PHP code. Now, because we're using these to test PHP forms right now, the action in the form tag needs to point to the URL where the form will get processed. In this case, it's not going to be test.php, but we won't know the URL until we actually submit this page. So let's go ahead and submit it. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom and click Save. Okay, so here you see the code from our previous example. We have our 3 forms, 1, 2, and 3. But the problem is that if we fill this out and submit it, it's going to submit to test.php, which doesn't actually exist yet, so we get a page not found. So let's go ahead and click the back button in the browser and take a look at this URL. So we actually want to post to node/1. So I'm going to copy this plus the initial slash in order to make sure it's an absolute path. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Edit here in order to edit the PHP. So right now we want to test the contact form. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here until we get to the contact form HTML. And here it is. So instead of test.php, I'm going to go ahead and paste in the /node/1. Now, if you've been working with this Drupal site for a while, the actual node number may be different. So the second thing we need to change here is the email address that this form is being sent to. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to the top of the PHP code here, where we have our case for contact. This is when the contact form gets submitted. And we're going to change the email address. Okay, and I'm going to scroll down and click Save. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill out this contact form. Okay, and once I've got that all filled out, I'm going to click Submit. Now you see some extra text up here, but that's just because we're doing a var dump in the PHP code. And sure enough, if we check our email inbox, we'll see that we have something from WebEnabled, and it has a subject line of contact from site, and then we have the text that was created through our contact form. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to the WebEnabled site here. So again, WebEnabled is a great way to spin up a quick development environment when you're learning PHP or when you're working with Drupal specifically. You can use it for any of the video series on this site. A lot of people find it useful when they're having a hard time getting a local development environment set up. But then also seasoned developers will use WebEnabled in order to spin up Drupal sites rapidly to prototype for their clients, as well as do additional development work.